Hey gang, it's Piano Man Steve. It is Memorial Day weekend of 2014 right now, and I just returned home from playing golf with my sister and my dad and an old friend of ours from many, many moons ago, back when I was living in Nebraska. And it was interesting. It was a very interesting experience for me that I wanted to talk to you about because it spurred me thinking about something that could be useful to you. You see, I needed to take my own advice today, and I eventually did. But here's what happened. I have not swung a golf club since August. Right now it's May, so it's been almost a year since I even swung a golf club, let alone played an entire round. I used to play a fair amount when I was young, but I really was not a real avid, crazy golfer. I was never a really good player. But I did play, pretty regularly, maybe a couple times a week or so, most of the way when I was a little kid, from the ages of, say, 6 or 7 all the way until I was like 13, and then a little bit more sparsely for the next 10 years or so. And then life kind of got in the way. Other things became bigger priorities to me, and I just played sporadically. Now, a problem that I've had from the time I was in my mid-20s when I started playing more sporadically, really even before that, but especially since then to now, is that every time I go out and play, I expect that I'm going to be able to play and score at the highest level I've ever played and scored. And yet, I'm not playing on a regular basis. It's a silly expectation, and yet I go out there and I have that expectation that I should be able to do that. Well, of course, what ends up happening? Well, I shank my first tee shot, and then after I find the ball in the woods, actually it's not in the woods here, it's like the desert sagebrush. Once I find the ball there, then I have to take a drop, and I take a penalty stroke, and then I hit it really fat out of the rough, and it only goes about 50 yards, and then I hit a worm burner down the... So I end up, having a triple or quadruple bogey on the first hole, and I'm just furious. Why can't I do this? I know how to do this. I've been taught. I've been taught, shown what I'm supposed to do to swing well. Why am I not doing it? Now, in the same group that I'm playing in, there's my sister, who's about 3 years older than me, and when she was 14 years old, she took on the same kind of mission with golf that I took with this thing right here. It was her passion. She said, I'm going to pay whatever price I have to pay, I'm going to bear any burden, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to become a great golfer. So, by the time she's 18, this is 4 years later, she's one of the top female golfers in the state of Nebraska. She was the district champion in her high school district. This is Class A, which in Nebraska means the big schools. And she was one of the top contenders for state. She did not win the state tournament, but one of her teammates did, and she and her teammate were in dogfights almost every tournament throughout the year for first or second place. They were friends. I don't want to say they were fighting, but I'm saying that's how good they were. So she was playing neck and neck and beating half the time through the year the eventual state champion of Nebraska. She didn't have her best round the day at state tournament, but their team did win the gold medal, and ever since then she has maintained a pretty active golf schedule. She plays a lot, and she's always been good. She's about maybe a 7 or 8 handicap, which, if you don't know what that means, it means that she shoots 7 or 8 strokes above par pretty consistently. So she's never lost that. She's that good. But she has maintained what she learned. She's never stopped playing for long periods of time. Never, ever, since she made that commitment at 14, has she gone 6 or 8 months without swinging a club. Never. So I'm playing in this group, and I'm thinking to myself, why can't I play like Tracy? Why can't I play like Tracy? Why is she smoking me so bad here? On about the 3rd hole today, my entire experience changed. because it dawned on me, why should I be able to play like Tracy? That's not a knock on me. That's just a realistic assessment. Why should I be able to play like Tracy? Did I spend years and years hitting hundreds and hundreds of balls on driving ranges and spending 2 hours a day just chipping and putting without even playing golf, and then going out, and when I played golf, like literally not just playing around, but literally taking the ball to certain spots on different holes that are likely troubled spots that you could find yourself in, and dropping 5 balls there and hitting 5 approach shots from that angle and then doing it from another angle. I mean, the girl spent hours and hours and hours all day, every day in the summertime doing this, learning that sport, conditioning herself, getting the muscle memory of her swing down so that she almost can't forget what it feels like. She's going by touch now. She's not trying to remember certain things. She's just going by touch. The neural connections are there. It's all cylinders are firing, and on a bad day she shoots a 10 handicap. On a good day she'll shoot a 5 handicap, I mean 5 over par. But she's consistent because she's been a consistent player and a consistent practicer. And I realized that it would be just as insane for me to expect to be able to perform at her level on the golf course as it would for her to be able to expect to perform at my level on the piano. She hasn't put the time and the energy in. Now, I'm not doing this because I'm telling you how much energy you should dedicate to your piano practice. That is something everyone has to make up their own mind for, based on their own lives. We all have a hierarchy of values, and wherever this falls in is fine. But I can tell you that you're going to suffer and be really frustrated with the journey if you have expectations of what you should be able to do that are incongruent with the level of priority it plays in your life. Okay? So what am I saying there? It's very simple. What I'm saying is that if playing the piano is a medium priority in your life, medium could be enough to justify buying a membership, for example. And that's good. You're going to learn some stuff, and you're going to know some things that you need to know. But if it's a medium priority, you're going to get medium results. You're not going to become a virtuoso with that being a medium priority. And that goes for anything in life. And again, I'm not telling you that it's better to be a virtuoso than to be a medium player. What I'm saying is we're all on a journey here, and you have to decide what's a realistic expectation for the level of commitment you make to it. I have not made playing golf a massive priority in my life. I love to play, I really enjoy it, but when push comes to shove, other things come first. Which is why I can live in a climate like Mesquite, Nevada, where it's, you know, literally golfing weather every day of the year, as long as you get up really early in the summertime, because I don't want to play when it's 120 degrees, but every day of the year there's sunshine of some sort, and you can play golf. You know, it doesn't ever get so cold and snowy and all of that that you can't go play. It's, in fact, we have like, it's a town of like 20,000 people, and there's 9 golf courses here. Okay? That's the whole purpose of this place, is people come here to play golf. And I live here. And yet, am I playing golf every day? No. It's not because I don't like to play it. Hell, I think I even love to play golf. It's really, really fun. And I love to be out in nature and smell the grass. And it's just beautiful out there. But other things are higher priorities for me. And so when push comes to shove, golf gets pushed down the list and other things get done instead. That's just what my life has turned out to be, because if I play too much golf and then things like what I'm doing right now, making these tutorials and learning more about how to play and how to teach and how to perform, because those are my top priorities, if things get in the way of those, then my life starts to not feel very good to me. You see, life feels good when you're honoring your highest priorities, and it doesn't feel good when you're not. So I accept that. I have a certain set of priorities, and golf at this time is not one of the top ones. Maybe it will be someday, and if it becomes a high priority, then I'll expect my game to improve, and improve quite a bit if it becomes a big enough priority to keep playing. But until then, if I go out with an expectation that I'm going to be able to play and score and strike the ball consistently as though golf is a huge priority in my life, I'm going to suffer. You know? We're all going to experience pain, but we don't always have to experience suffering. Pain is the inevitable thing that happens in your life when something takes place that doesn't match your plan or your expectation. Suffering happens when you're so oblivious to why that pain is happening that you can't do anything to change it, and you feel helpless. So, on about the third hole, I recognized this is a silly expectation. I'm going to realign my expectations of myself so that I can enjoy the day. Here's what I want. With my level of priority, then I think this is what's really important. I'm going to blow off when I shank the ball or have a really bad shot. I'm going to take a drop. If I hit one way out in the middle of nowhere and I don't feel like chasing it around in the sagebrush, forget it. I'll just take a drop in the fairway and hit another one. I'm going to quit keeping score. I don't care about that. What I want is I want to make good contact with the ball, and I want to enjoy every good shot that I have. I want to ignore when I have a bad shot, but I also want to see if I can learn from my bad shots. Did I feel anything in particular? Like in this particular case, I've been doing yoga a lot lately, and I discovered that my range of motion, because of about a year of doing yoga pretty consistently, my range of motion is much larger than it used to be. And so what I was doing in my swing is I was coming farther over than I used to, and my club was coming past parallel. I didn't realize I was doing that because I used to just swing to my limit, but now I'm more flexible than I used to be. So I had to consciously shorten my backswing in order to have better control over my follow-through. When I did that, I started striking the ball really well, you know? So lo and behold, when I changed my expectations, I stopped suffering. And then I started to really enjoy my good shots, and I started to just sort of blow off the bad ones. And I stopped worrying about it because I wasn't expecting something of myself that was totally unrealistic. And I had a fabulous time the rest of the day. A fabulous time. And I loved every minute of being out there, and I enjoyed the chance to be playing and chipping and putting and everything. I enjoyed every good shot, and of course, what do I find? Once I dropped those expectations and stopped making myself suffer, I got more clear-headed. When I got more clear-headed, I started to have insights as to what I could do to improve my swing, and as I started to improve my swing, the shots got better and better and better. And the last 3 holes, even though I wasn't formally keeping score, I went par, par, birdie. So if you don't know anything about golf, that might not mean anything to you, but it means I played really well. So my game got better. But you see, I didn't care about what the score was. What I cared about was I realigned my expectations to I'm going to enjoy the day. I'm going to enjoy being outside. I'm going to enjoy the company I'm keeping with these people that I love. I'm going to enjoy making good contact with the ball. And I'm not going to beat myself up for having a shank or a slice or a hook every once in a while. Even if I have it quite a bit. Because you know what? I haven't played enough golf in the last 10 years to expect anything other than to have the occasional shank and hook and slice and pop it way up in the air and chunk it. I'm going to do some of that. I'm not a disaster out there, but I haven't played enough to expect anything else. So I guess what I'm telling you is, think about how big of a priority your piano journey is to you. And I'm not telling you again that you should make it a higher priority. I think you need to figure that out for yourself. But you do need to know how big of a priority it is. And then gauge your expectations of your progress and what you're doing based on that. And enjoy the good shots. And don't beat yourself up over the shanks. If you really have not played for 20 years and you're just picking it back up, you're going to have some shanks, folks. That's how it's going to be. And if you are really juiced and you practice like, I don't know, 3 hours a day for a week, and then you're pissed because guess what? I'm still not playing that well. I practice for 3 hours every week. I'm still not playing very well. Well, how much have you been playing for the last many, many years? 3 hours a day for 7 days is not going to turn around 10 years, 20 years of neglect. It just isn't. So recognize that. And recognize whether you're doing something that's a sustainable pattern for you. If it's a medium commitment in your life, if it's a medium priority in your life, and you're trying to take a maximum priority level of effort with it, you will burn out. Because it means that you're taking time away from things that really are higher priorities. Okay? But whatever level of commitment you're making to it, embrace that. Enjoy it. Set expectations that are congruent with that, and enjoy the journey. Enjoy the good notes. Enjoy it when you have a breakthrough and you learn to finally play something, when something comes together finally. Enjoy that. And try to learn from the shanks and the hooks and the slices and the pop-ups and the chunks. Try to learn from it, but don't beat yourself up for it. It's natural. You got to fail forward in this whole thing. And we can't all become virtuosos at everything that we try. We can become a virtuoso at anything we want to, as long as we're willing to pay the price necessary to become a virtuoso at that particular activity. But nobody has enough time in their life to make that kind of commitment to everything. So whether you are committed to this at the same level that I am and you want to become a professional at it, or if you have more of a medium to high medium commitment to it and you just want it to be a really present part of your life that you do for fun and you play for friends and family and all of that, that's great. Or if you just have kind of a passing fancy with it, you just want to know a little bit more about it, it's kind of a low, moderate commitment, that's fine. You're going to learn some stuff. You're going to learn some stuff and you'll get to play some stuff. But you probably, at that level, you're not going to get everything out of it. You're not going to become a great piano player with that level of commitment. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't expect to become that, because that's what will create suffering. That's what will make the experience crappy. It's not the facts on the ground that make us suffer. It's our perception of what's going on that makes us suffer. And if you perceive that you should be able to do something that's completely out of alignment with your level of commitment to it, you're going to live in a constant state of frustration. I learned that today. I've been preaching this stuff for a long time, and yet, guess what? I still catch myself having unrealistic expectations. So, I guess what I'm telling you today is try to keep this in mind, but even more importantly, when you find yourself having unrealistic expectations, just try to realign them on the spot. Don't beat yourself up for not remembering this in the first place. Just recognize that that's what you're doing. Have a laugh and say, oh, there I go again. Try to stay congruent with your level of priority. Be authentic. There's no right or wrong. Every journey is valid in its own way. Okay? But don't expect to become the same kind of player that the professionals and the people you idolize are if you don't have the same level of commitment to it that they had. And their commitment to it was very, very deep. They really sacrificed. I have sacrificed a lot of things in my life to do this. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Not telling you that you can't become a great player, and it's never too late to start. But try to keep those expectations congruent with the level of commitment and priority you really have for this in your life. And you will be much, much happier, because you'll always be playing at exactly the level that you think you should be playing. That way you're meeting your expectations, and that way you feel good about yourself and you feel good about what you're doing. And if you don't feel good about what you're doing, you're not going to have any fun. And as you know, If you're not having fun when you're making music, you're doing it wrong. Okay. I'm going to get out of here, but thank you for listening and tuning in. I just wanted to share that story with you. I will be back with more of my deep thoughts at another time. Thanks again, guys. Take care.